Okay, time for a very serious conversation. A bit of real talk, folks. Is it just me, or has anyone else noticed there appears to be a number of grown men who like to wear suits who happen to have a humiliation fetish? And the way that they seem to scratch that itch is through Tesla, specifically either betting against the company, remaining bearish, sharing absurd claims that they know are false, while doing so on a large platform, specifically with the express purpose of humiliating themselves in public to get off. Is it just me? It probably is just me. Anyway, I don't know what that's got to do with anything. Let's hear from Craig Irwin and apparently also a Tesla bull. The bull and bear case for Tesla.
You've always come as the sobering voice on this stock. You're laughing already.
Yeah.
What do you make of this recent rally we've seen in Tesla? We're going to get into whether or not it belongs to the Mag 7 or not. But what do you make on this recent rally, especially with the thought that Tesla might likely miss those delivery numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a miss is going to be taken as a surprise. The stock's actually been moving higher on optimism around the China deliveries, right? The fact that, as you mentioned, several of the key players in China have beaten. People are hoping that the fact that we don't have arson issues in Germany and supply chain issues this quarter will allow them to maybe be a little bit stronger. But I look at used car pricing. It's down 30% year over year. That's roughly double the price cuts in North America for Tesla.
Right. But you're hitting the fundamentals about the stock right now. But
See, now, look, I know tinfoil hat alert, but if I happen to be a guy with a humiliation fetish, and hey, look, I'm not judging whatever you're into, this is exactly what I would do. I'd appear in the media repeatedly talking about Tesla, flaunting my $80 price target, my sell rating on this stock, and I'd say absurd things about the company that made no sense, specifically just to tickle my fetish. $80 per share, according to Craig Irwin. Is this reasonable? Just to remind everyone, and Craig's been discussing Tesla for years, but since mid-2019, the guy thought the stock was a hold at $17 a share. Soon after, he thought it was a sell at 23, at 23, at 37, at 55, and then suddenly, it's now a hold at 102. So the stock doubles in 2 milliseconds, and it was previously a sell, and now that it's doubled, it's a hold. And it was also a hold in the mid-teens, and then it doubled and became a sell. So July 2019, $17 a share, it's a hold. July 2020, a year later, it's also a hold. Nothing wrong with that. Stock's up 6 times. It would have been probably better to have a buy before it went up 6x, but hey, whatever. But here's a curious thing. Between that 12-month period, for some strange reason, Craig was recommending people sell. If they had followed his advice, they would have missed out on that 6 times return. So I thought it was fair value, but not a good buy or a sell in the mid-teens. Then suddenly changed his mind after it had doubled. But then when it's up 6 times, suddenly it's now a hold. But wait, it gets stranger. Since that point in time, the guy's just recommending investors hold the stock. Not one buy rating or sell rating the entire time, irrespective of Tesla's stock price. It seems a little bit strange. A lot's happened with the company in terms of growth, profitability, scale, proving their unassailable lead, their market dominance. And the dude thinks it's a hold at $325 a share. Still thought it was a hold at $191 a share. And as recently as April 2024, at $144 per share, still a hold. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me. If Craig were rational, you would have thought that somewhere here, there'd be at least one buy or sell rating. Look, personally, I've been buying non-stop. But this to me looks like the very definition of a gigantic fucking pussy. Well, just hold. How brave must one be? Now, keep in mind, this sausage wallet has an $80 per share price target, but he's recommending investors hold. Does not compute, unless, of course, he doesn't actually really believe in his price target and he's simply appearing in the media to say $80 per share so people like I can point and laugh so he can get off with his humiliation fetish. I'm just kidding. That would never happen. Please tell us more, Craig, about why Tesla's worth $80 a share, but you don't recommend investors sell it, even though it's currently, let's do the math here, triple that price and then some?
The recent rally, it sounds like you're thinking that's just irrational exuberance. Is there some reason that you can attribute, even as the bear in this conversation, for the stock to rally so much, about double digits over the last month?
It's optimism in China. People trade this thing on data points. It's a high velocity name. It's a retail darling. So when the headline news is coming through positive, stock's going up. When the headline news is coming through negative, stock's going down.
All right. Stephen, I'm going to come over to you. You're the bull in this situation right now. Even you believe, you say the whisper number for Tesla deliveries actually is going to fall short of what the estimates are expecting. What do you make of this recent rally? What are you possibly, but at least investors are seeing in this stock over the last month or so?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. I think first of all, if you look at Tesla and you just look at it as an automotive company, you're not going to buy the stock, right? You're buying into a technology business, and I think Craig's right to an extent on what people are looking at with the short-term numbers. But I also think people are thinking about Tesla at a larger scale and what they're doing on both the full self-driving side and how the AI business is really fueling the company, both on FSD, full self-driving, and on ultimately longer term, the Robotaxi side.
So the dude definitely makes a reasonable point. If you're just looking at Tesla as a, quote, car company, and just a car company, valuation makes no sense. But if you were just looking at Tesla as a car company and nothing else, you'd have to be brain dead. Interesting then that after Tesla delivers a few more cars than people were expecting, like literally like 1% more, stock surges, geez, what are we at? Like close to 20% in the following days. I'm not saying there's a correlation. They may be totally unrelated. However, it just goes to show Craig's comments previously, I'm not necessarily sure that he's on point in terms of good news, stock goes up, bad news, stock goes down. Often it's the polar opposite. Check out what happened to Tesla stock versus every event they've done in the company's history. Usually, stunning event, important details, huge implications, stock explodes.
All right, so a lot of people have been pointing to that Robotaxi event coming up in August. By the way, I want to get to your price target. You're at 265 on the stock. Ahead of that, as we look at Tesla, just the fundamentals of the company, delivery numbers and everything else, Craig was mentioning some of the pricing issues that the company's having as well. Does Tesla belong in the Magnificent Seven when you look at the stock? I know you're bullish on it, but do you still believe it belongs in the Mag 7?
So check this out. The Magnificent Seven is just a made-up concept. What it does... It's got nothing. Oh, Jesus Christ. What even is this? It's a made-up concept. Here, I'm going to make one up myself. Ready? Fuck the Magnificent Seven. How about the Ultimate One? Yeah, there you go. Tesla belongs in the Ultimate One.
Yeah, and again, I go back to the fact that this truly is a technology business. They are set up for significant long-term growth. Part of that is clearly the pace and the timing of EV adoption and how that impacts the core business. But a larger part of that long-term is how we think about the application of AI technology and also the ability to just fuel the full self-driving piece of the company. I think what's important to note is when we look at our target price, we think the stock's worth, $190 to $195 on the core operations, and the upside to our price target from there really comes from the other initiatives. And quite honestly, I think we're being conservative on the long-term adoption rates on those initiatives.
All right.
So with a $265 per share price target, basically what Tesla's currently valued at, give or take, yeah, it probably is being a little bit conservative on some of those future multi-trillion-dollar opportunities.
All right, Craig, I'm going to come over to you. I'm not going to be surprised by your answer, I don't think. But Do you think that Tesla needs to be kicked out of the Mag 7? And if so, why? What are the factors that lead you to that conclusion?
Tesla's a retail darling, right? And why is the big question? It's because they've changed the world, right? They've brought EVs to the mass market and forced all the rest of the automotive industry to follow them. So they deserve special treatment. Does that mean they belong in the Mag 7 or not? I don't think so. I see it as egregiously overvalued. The stock's trading on expectations for things like sentient humanoid robots by the end of 25.
Come on, Craig. Look, is there anyone watching who actually thinks any of Tesla's current valuation at all is attributable to future revenue profits from the Optimus humanoid robot? If that were true, bro, it'd probably be a 5-figure, not 3-figure stock price. Now, certainly true. There's got to be some portion of Tesla's valuation on the back of autonomy. But come on, man. The humanoid robots? I don't think anyone's taking this seriously. Let me think about this. How could we verify or at least hypothesize as to whether or not this statement makes sense or Craig's just trying to humiliate himself? And what do we have here? Tesla's stock price. Let's just pull this back. Now, does anyone remember roughly when the Tesla humanoid robot was first unveiled? I'll spoil that for you. August 2021. Tesla stock, $226 per share. Since then, it's basically gone nowhere. I mean, it's been volatile up and down, but we're not even 10% off what it was at the time of the humanoid robot unveil. During that time, we've also seen Tesla make phenomenal progress on autonomy. So, is this a reasonable claim from Craig to suggest that the humanoid robot is driving what he would see, I guess, as an absurdly high valuation for the company when the stock's not even up 10% since that unveil? That would be assuming you're ignoring everything else in their business. I don't think this is a reasonable thing to say. unless your goal is to say unreasonable things in public so you can humiliate yourself. But of course, again, that's not actually the case. Craig definitely believes what he's saying.
That ain't going to happen, Mike's. Elon Musk is prone to hyperbole, right? The FSD.
Oh, well, what do you know? Turns out this clip was a couple of days old before Tesla stock surged. The stock apparently was $207 per share at the time, which is actually less than Tesla's stock was at when they unveiled the humanoid robot. Man, I'm not sure the math's checking out or the logic on Craig's statement about the humanoid robot.
Full self-driving. No. I mean, they don't have the technology, the actual energy tax on the drivetrains more than it is for actually driving A to B.
So, Craig, you're hitting on some of the things that were in a Wells Fargo's note yesterday. A lot of people were following. Tesla's valuation, according to our system, 74 times forward earnings. The rest of the Mag 7 peers at 35 times. But, Stephen, I want to come back over to you. Another point in this note is that the outlook for 3-year EPS growth for Tesla, it's at about 12%. The rest of the Mag 7's at 26%. How can you be in one of these in this high-flying group if you have such a lower growth rate? And is Tesla, in your mind, still a growth stock?
Yeah, well, I think yes, it is a growth stock. I think when you think about the pace of growth that we're seeing in the near term, we wrote this. We initially covered in the stock only about 10 days ago. The very short term, there are clearly EV adoption headwinds which are impacting the earnings profile. Right, I don't think that's a shock to anybody. I think when we look at the rollout of incremental vehicles, the quote unquote Model 2, which should start to be produced over the next 12 to 18 months, that should be another high volume vehicle for the company. And then you layer in the long term. And again, when we think about the growth story for Tesla, we're talking about 27 to 35, where you start to get significant adoption rates of things like FSD and Robotaxis. And
Dude, did he just refer to 2027 to 2035, as in like up to a decade from now? I think he did. I'm a fan. It's very rare that you hear anyone talking about a 10-year time frame, especially in the finance media regarding Tesla. This is how to think about the company. If you focus like a moron on tomorrow or next week and next quarter, you really are going to miss the big picture.
I do agree with Craig in the short term. I do think there are headwinds, and that's pretty well documented in our reports. But I think you have to have a vision of Tesla medium to long term to buy the stock. If you're buying this thing for a month or 2 months, clearly it's going to be choppy and it's going to trade on data points, as Craig indicated. I
certainly think the guy has a valid point about gambling on Tesla stock over the short term. It can be extremely volatile and unpredictable. It's really playing with fire. I mean, nothing wrong with gambling as long as you know you're gambling and you can afford a loss. But it's hard to see a bear case if you're looking out 10 plus years. And I do want to be clear, Tesla stock is extremely unpredictable. Historically speaking, often when the company has stunning, very positive news, the stock collapses. On the flip side, often when bad news appears, the stock can surge. Or most recently, when Tesla delivers almost exactly, literally within 1% the number of vehicles that Wall Street was expecting, as in no news, as in super neutral, you can see the stock surge double-digit percentages in the span of 2 days. In other words, make it make sense. And this is the final takeaway from today's video. If long-term, the trend is up, but between now and there, one can expect extreme volatility, making short-term bets on this is begging to A, have your financial anus ruined, hey, whatever you're into, or B, humiliate yourself, or possibly both at the same time. Hey, look, like I said before, whatever you're into, but personally, that's not my cup of tea. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. And I haven't missed a daily video in more than 3 years. Must be a coincidence, right? Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. But don't take my word for it. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. By the way, viewer, that makes 2 of us. On to the next. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. This viewer's been taking AG1 for 8 months and says, what an investment. Another. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going. Plenty more to come. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. If you're still skeptical, hey, I don't blame you. Everyone on the planet seems to be promoting AG1 now, but guess what? They weren't nearly 3 years ago when I had this to say privately to my Patreon audience before there was a relationship, when I was asked about what I was doing for my health, energy, and so on. Just sharing my genuine, honest thoughts about a product I'd recently discovered that was at the time called Athletic Greens, now AG1. If I could only recommend one supplement to take, Athletic Greens, and I'm not getting paid to say this, Athletic Greens is a fucking game changer. I cannot believe how effective this is. No longer having a lack of energy in the afternoons. It's fucking amazing. There's only one thing to recommend, seriously. Try Athletic Greens. You won't go back. So obviously, just like Elon Musk is a liar, a fraud, a con man, a scammer, a fake engineer, and Tesla's going bankrupt, you shouldn't trust that guy from about 3 years ago who, without any financial incentive, was promoting this product to his audience on Patreon when they were asking about health and what he's doing for supplements. Because obviously, there was some other reason he recommended that, obviously. Not sure what it was, but don't trust that guy. And all the testimonials, like my mental game has improved with AG1. I feel better than ever. I'm so impressed I've bought it for both my parents. I feel more focused and have better digestion. Incredible difference. No more afternoon fatigue. It's relieved gut issues. These are all just obviously fake testimonials from fake people. Right? Wrong. Just try it. Unless you hate yourself. If you hate yourself and you don't even want to risk possibly feeling better, this is not for you. But for everyone else, what's the worst that could happen? Try it for a month. See how you feel. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR. You'll get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. And you'll take the colossal risk that maybe you might have a similar experience to some of the people whose testimonials we've read in this video.